Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel for another acrylic painting tutorial. Today I'm going to be using a limited palette of black and white only. You can use any black or white you want. However, I'm using Mars Black and Titanium White. I've got a number 30 Filbert brush to start the background with and an 8x10 double primed and stretched canvas. I'm going to go ahead and get started by taking some black, a little bit of water on my brush, and I'm just going to start covering the whole canvas. Okay, while that paint is still wet, I'm going to take some white and I'm going to start adding it across the middle of the canvas and then bring it down a little lower and up a little higher. So now we've got a long line here. This is for our horizon line, a little bit narrower going down into the water where we're going to have our reflection, and a little narrower going up above where we're going to have our moon. I'm going to go down a few sizes to a number 16 Filbert brush. I'm going to get my brush just a little bit wet, and I'm going to take some white, a little bit of black, and make really light shade of gray. Not too much water in my brush. And I'm going to start from here, go over to about here, so leave about an inch, inch and a half from the edge of the canvas. I'm going to turn my brush like this, go up and over. Pick up a little bit more water. And just gently start to blend or scumble. Then down below, we're going to go side to side, leaving a few spaces for the reflection in the water. Now this is just a fantasy painting, so it's not going to be realistic at all. I want it to look like the moon is kind of just one with the water and the horizon. I'm going to rinse out my brush completely. Take a little bit more of that white and create a little bit of a glowing haze around the outside edge of that moon. I'm going to come in with some more white now. And then I'm going to flip my brush over in my hand like this, placing my brush flat. My finger here to help give me a little bit more control. And just wiggle in for some brighter areas on the moon. And then down below. More white again. And you can pick a few areas. See how doing this is kind of like creating those little patches and craters in the moon. It's making it a little bit more three-dimensional. And it's something really amazing about working just in a limited palette, black and white. Together you create these light shades of gray, which are really nice and kind of soothing. You don't always need color. Lately I've been painting in a lot of bright, vivid colors, and it's nice to go back and have a little break, switch it up a little bit. I know a lot of you guys watching my channel really enjoy the black and whites and limited palettes, so I'm glad I've got something here for everybody to enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna go back with a clean brush, just make a little bit of a light gray again. Okay, when I mix it up, I want to make sure I take the excess off, dab it off on a towel, and go up and over again on the outside of the moon. And then just come around the sides here with a little bit of that gray. So it kind of gradiates from black to white. It's all dry now. Got a clean brush, and I'm going to take some more white. Come inside the moon here. Turn it over. Then I'm going to go underneath and add some more white right down to the bottom of the canvas. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is use a small flat brush. This one is a number 6. And I'm going to take some black, a little bit of water on my brush to help release the paint easier. And I'm just going to come up from the bottom corner here, and we're going to do a line for the stem that goes up to the side of the moon here. Then we're going to add a little black circle for the center of our dandelion. Okay, see how dry that looks? I need a little bit more water and paint in my brush. I'm going to just take a little bit of white, mix that in with a black, and I'm going to apply it over half of the stem. And then a little bit more white, and right down here. Bring it up part way up the stem. This way it's going to show up more because it was black on black before. Rinse my brush out and I have more black. And I'm going to go right through the moon again and just make it a little bit darker. Just underneath. We want it to be the darkest where the background is the brightest, so the moon, right? I'm going to add a few little lines like this for part of the dandelion where all the little things have blown off. Couple right there. And then I'm just going to wiggle out just a little bit of a dry brush of the black right there. And then I'm going to go in, tap the underside in my white, tap a few little dots and little dabs here to the top part of the black. You want to have a little bit of water on your brush, and you just want to take some black paint, roll it around, get it on the tip of your brush, and we'll start with one hand. So think of a little triangle like that. Wrist a little bit wider where her elbow is, and then a little bit narrower, and then leave a little space in between for her other arm. Her knee is right here too, so they're going to kind of overlap. Her arm overlaps, and then we've got her chest area, and then waist, stomach, so a V, another V, her knee or her leg up to her knee here, down narrow, and her foot. Okay, and then her bottom, curve it around. We're going to bring this pretty flat, and then meet her shoulder right there. We're going to paint in this little triangle here. Bring her other hand up now over her knee. And everything's in silhouette, so we can't really see, right? But she's holding. And we'll add her other leg. And her other leg's going to come from underneath here. On an angle. Her foot with a slight arch, and then her heel. And her knee is somewhere right there, but it's not bent. We're going to need a little line here, a little diagonal line like that. And then her head, I'm not going to see any features. Her arm blends into her head there, and then see a little bit of hair. I'm just going to really loosen and thin my paint out with some water so it's going to flow a lot easier. And add these little wiggles for her hair. You can use a little liner brush too if you want. It's really like whatever you feel, comfortable with. Now we can go ahead and start adding her wings. I'm going to use an even smaller round brush, and I'm going to take my black, a little watered down again, and I'm going to start narrow. So from the shoulder out, in, narrow, in, out, and then back in. And then I'm just going to soften this line and just push to make it a little bit thinner and tighter. Go back into my black. And then I'm going to add a second line for the wing on the other side. We're not going to see very much of that though, right? So it's just kind of right next to it. And it goes down a little bit lower. So it's a little bit, this one's a little bit shorter and higher up. Okay, and then we're going to add a second set of wings very close. And we're just going to go in a raindrop shape. And add the second one. I'm going to use a really thin liner brush here with water. See how transparent the paint is? And then water down. And we can just add a few designs. I like to do a little scoop up there and then a few lines coming out from that towards the bottom, and then just go from there. I'm going to use this brush to add some more hair. Make it a little thicker, coming right out of the head. And I'm also going to use this brush for the rest of my dandelion. So I'm going to add a whole bunch of lines that come like this. Make sure that you take the time to reload your brush with equal parts water and paint. If anything, more water. We're going to go all the way up to the stem. You shouldn't need to apply really any pressure. If you have to push too hard, then you don't have the correct brush, you don't have the right amount of water or paint in your brush. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of my black, and I'm going to add a little dab here and here, where we're going to start our little individual flowers from. Those little pieces that you blow off and make a wish with. So this is what happens when you use too much paint and a little bit too much pressure. I wanted to just define the black a little bit more, so I can just go back and push them off. Now this area over here where it's really dark, I'm going to need to add just straight black with no water in order for it to hopefully show up. I'm going to go over these ones are supposed to be thicker. These are different parts, as well as a few in here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is pull individual little lines off of these ones. So I'm just going to place my pinky here, and we're going to do a line like that, and then just add a whole bunch of little ones, okay, in all different directions. Also some coming up from this side. And just keep going. Now there's some that are just really layered in there, and you can be a little bit looser and quicker. But like I said, it really, really helps to have some water in your brush. When you're using a liner brush, you need that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white because some of them are a little bit softer in tone. But see how just a little bit of gray really shows up too. And it's nice to have a little bit of both gray and black in here. Add a few more of the dabs. Now I've got another, if you like these dandelion paintings, I've got one that's an iridescent. It shows you how to paint with regular paints, but make it appear iridescent. So it's done in black and white first, and then I come in with color. So it's a really great tutorial to watch that you're going to learn a lot from. So be sure to check that out. It might even be recommended to you after this video. Just going back and adding a line here and here on either side of those little tiny flowers, making them stand out a little more. And then I mean, it's all up to you how much you want to add. And this is just a smaller canvas, and if you wanted to, you could paint this on a larger canvas. You'll just need some larger brushes and take a little bit more time. I just want to add a few more up here. Add a little dab there, there. Okay, so this painting is all done. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me today for this painting tutorial. I hope that you want to paint along. Feel free to share yours and tag me in them. I want to wish you guys the very best, and I'll see you all soon in my next video. Take care, everyone.